Alright guys, welcome back to VALORANT News. The Red Bull Homegrounds NA qualifier goes down last night. Sentinels fall short in the grand finals to none other than Cloud9. Zephyr and the boys taking the victory there, but big reaction to this from the Sentinels perspective, especially with what they are going to do next. Curry and Redux stepping in for this tournament. Who are those two guys' replacements going to be when the official season comes around? Big rumours on that one. How does Redux perform, at least in terms of getting a spot, maybe on Sentinels for next season and beyond? Very much intrigued to your thoughts in the comments below. Hit the like button if you enjoy. Subscribe if you're new as always, I greatly appreciate it. First of all, we have to talk about the conclusion to yesterday's Ascension over there in Jakarta, because this was absolutely mind-blowing stuff. Genuinely one of the best series of Valorant that you could ever wish to see. And it's just funny, isn't it? Like, the Pacific region just produces banger games, right? Like, it doesn't matter what the tournament is. There's always going to be something absolutely wild going on. Like, you know, this was a unreal series, especially the way that it concluded here with Persia getting a ludicrous clutch to close out in like quintuple overtime, with SPG getting over the line. So it was 16-15 here against BME. Boom, of course, as the home team. They've done, you know, a lot for Valorant over the last few years. You know, look, the team that won deserved it, right? But Boom Esports, they brought back this series. They took it all the way to a final map, and it looked like they were going to take it all the way to another set of overtime games here. But Persia finds himself in a 1 versus 3. He's one, obviously, alt orb away from the Brimstone ultimate, which he can use to stop the spike defusal. All they really have to do, Boom, is just hop it and don't give him a kill. But instead, he peeks, he gets the kill with just a couple of seconds on the clock remaining, puts down the ultimate, and as you guys can see by the bar, the kill arrives here. Like, I don't know how it can get closer. Look at that bar. I think it's here, maybe, when, I mean, look how close that is to him getting the defuse. But no, the spike just about gets, well, the diffuser gets killed just about before. One of the most ludicrous rounds you're ever going to see. And that was the difference maker between Sinprasa Gaming over Boom Esports taking the victory in Ascension. So, man, if I was the Boom Esports guys, I'm not sure I would be able to sleep for weeks after that. I'm not going to lie. But look, congratulations to SBG. They won a brutal series of Valorant over 5 maps. We saw it like half of it yesterday. At the start of it, looked like Sinprasa were going to run away with it. But then Lotus was a 14-12 overtime. The Haven was a 13-10. Big comeback from BME on the second half. And then Binds, they went up big time, right? They were up, what is this, like 11-6 on the second half. SPG then brought it all the way back. BME took it to overtime. And then, yeah, that famous round. So Sinprasa Gaming, your final team that will be qualifying for next year's VCT alongside the regions, or the winners from the other regions. But speaking of winners, we've got to talk about who won the Red Bull Homegrounds tournament yesterday, the NA qualifier to qualify for, you know, the actual Homegrounds around the world. The main event featuring Fnatic and, like, obviously Cloud9 now and Carmine Corps, that's coming up in a couple of months' time in November, I believe. But the winner of the NA qualifier would also qualify. We did finally get to see, by the way, what MXS were actually doing, and it's an interesting team. I mean, Mara did make it in the end, so maybe the airport stuff wasn't true. And then, you know, Whippy, including Whippy being back in business as well. Flyer, of course, come along for the ride. Brook as well. But, yeah, Whippy getting another opportunity as always. You know, he's a controversial character, shall we say, the very least, Whippy. But MXS plays Cloud9, and early on, Cloud9 were getting cooked. I mean, Flyer as well is using all the KOI stuff. There have been rumours linking him to that KOI team for next season in EMEA, taking his IGLing talents over there, which would be very interesting, and, well, has certainly been heavily rumoured, so we'll see if that comes true. And Cloud9, yeah, they were going down early on. They did, however, C9 eventually bring this back to win the series. The same for Sen against YFP. YFP were really competitive here. It actually took an overtime on the icebox for Sentinels to eventually get over the line. 1 versus 1. B-Dog goes down to Zekin. Sassy was buzzing about it. And, yeah, the boys move on in front of the Sen City into the grand finals, where they eventually played none other than C9. And as Ye was saying early on in that situation, like, nowhere people are roasting Cloud9. They're using stand-ins. People are saying nuke the roster, and of course they went on to win everything anyway, because they did catch fire, Cloud9, and they took down Sentinels themselves, having a stand-in team in the grand finals. Zephyr, Moose, and Oxy, it doesn't seem like it's going anywhere, but Vic and Mitch were the two stand-ins here, and Mitch did a pretty good job. Of course, there's talk about what they're going to do from an IGLing perspective, whether, because Rossi, we're pretty sure, is going to be coming in here, so what else are they going to do? Are they going to sign somebody else? Is Mitch going to stay? What about Rooney, right, that they considered, and all these other things. But look, fair play to Zephyr. I think especially Zephyr had a really good first series here. His reputation is quite interesting because I think he falls into a similar category as Asuna, a player that has obviously got a lot of talent and has high potential, but has been on the same organization for some time and not really delivered any results. And that's why there are questions on Zephyr's future a lot, as the same with Asuna, to be fair, on those respective teams, 100T for Asuna. Cloud9 here for Zephyr. But look, he did a solid job this series. They took down Sentinels eventually in 2 close games, 13-9 and then 13-10 on the binds. The Lotus was a tough one for Sen to take, especially because they just couldn't win an offensive round after winning both pistols in this game. So pretty dominant victory for C9 in the end. Zekken tried his best. But yeah, Redux was on the omen. It was interesting because Redux can obviously shoot straight. His bind was pretty damn good on the Gecko, 23 and 14 for him for the loss, unfortunately, but nonetheless an impressive performance. His aim is obviously good. Redux stepping into roles that he's not so comfortable with, understandably that he's not necessarily going to perform his absolute best, but still, I thought Redux did a pretty damn good job here. Curry was the one that had a particularly hard time, to be fair. So look, don't read too much into this. It's an off-season tournament. Both teams involved didn't even have their rosters they intend to form, although, Jackie Etienne's kind of talking about, look, we're back type thing, and I do think this is kind of funny. You guys remember when Zephyr and FNS were beefing back in July, and FNS said, I'd legit pay you a year's worth of your salary if you make it to a single LAN without being invited. So, and now technically he's qualified for a LAN, hasn't he, with Cloud9. Now FNS will say, oh, it doesn't count, I meant like an actual international VCT event, which I think is also fair enough. We'll see if that happens either. But yeah, Curry, bit of a rough one, sold everything. Sorry, OT Sentinels, and that's fine. Look, he's a streamer now. He's stepping into the team, played a difficult role, just a few days of practice. It is what it is at the end of the day. But I did say yesterday that Curry's spot, at least on the roster, let's say as a substitute, is potentially under threat at some point based on what could happen in the future, because as Redux says, GG's to C9, well played to them, losing never feels good, happy about my debut, thanks for the opportunity, see you guys next time. So yeah, Sen Redux is maybe no longer going to be a thing, but if I'm Kaplan, I'm seeing that performance, I'm saying, okay, there is clearly promise here, depending on the roles, if he can get used to it or whatever. So my theory might be, maybe keep on Redux as a sub or something. Now, he's going to want to play challenges, I guess, at the start of the season, but he's going to be 18 in the not too distant future either. So he will get looked at when the VCT comes around and when he's old enough to actually play in the VCT. So if I'm Kaplan, I'm definitely thinking about whether I keep him on board in some capacity, maybe loan him out to a challengers team for the start of the season, I don't know, or even field your own challengers academy roster. That's also a possibility. And then when the time comes, maybe then Curry just becomes like a full-time creator, and Redux steps in as the sub for whoever else they're going to bring in. And then if the team doesn't perform, they can then consider alternatives there, because they are looking at alternatives right now, Sentinels, and we'll see them in a second. Sources, though, say that Rossi to Cloud9 is basically a done deal. We've heard this rumored for a long time now, so that seems to be effectively locked in. Whether they keep Vic, whether they keep Mitch, who knows? But the belief is that, yeah, Moose, Oxy, who they've done, I think, pretty well to keep. Oxy didn't have the best series yesterday, but is still, I would say, their best player overall based on last season. And G2, it seems, were trying to get him as well. That didn't happen. They've kept hold of him, and now Rossi's going to join as well. So I do like what Cloud9 are building, actually, I think, this off-season. And worth keeping in mind that they, could be a serious threat. It's always difficult to say. It's an off-season tournament at the end of the day. Exactly where they fit into the overall standings is a big question. But look, Rossi coming into their roster can't be a bad idea if he's going to keep putting up clips like this. Of course, he did a good job this season for T1, and then he's come back to the Americas, and now it's going to be Cloud9 who are going to have him on the roster for the upcoming season. This though from Demon1, blue or purple, right? So where does he go? Now, people are looking at the purple as being potentially KOI and EMEA. He's been linked to that team as well on occasion, but the main team that he's getting linked to right now is Leviathan. And even LEV are in the replies here saying, hey, choose the blue team, please. And, well, we'll see what happens. But yeah, there is effectively a guarantee that these guys are in discussion and negotiations are in progress between LEV and Demon1. Whether that comes to a conclusion, whether he does go elsewhere, whether he gets a better offer, that is another question. But yeah, LEV Demon1 replacing Aspas does seem to be a realistic option right now. Where Aspas goes, we still don't really know. But as we said the other day, the latest rumor potentially is somewhere in the Pacific region. But Sentinels, this is apparently what they are going to do. The rumor is that it will be narrate and bang. We heard about, obviously, Scuba. We heard about potentially Redux, but he's not old enough. It does seem like, according to rumors, and Purist actually comes out of retirement yesterday to drop these rumors around, that it's going to be narrate and bang. So it seems like they've poached Bang from 100 Thieves, and they bring in narrate in as well to replace Sassy and Tens respectively. And then, you know, I'm guessing 100T will maybe get someone like Xander, therefore, to close out their team instead of Bang. So if this comes true, it's very interesting because Bang is a pretty controversial player in terms of some people think that he's very good, some people think that he's not that good at all. So it is a matter for debate, but very much interested to your thoughts on all of this stuff in the comment section below. Hit the like button if you enjoyed, subscribe if you're new, take care, and I'll see you next time.
And there goes those traps, a relay, it all hits, Dabby slides, what a headshot! But boom, they managed to fight back! Berserks! It's all down to Persia. He's been good in this overtime so far, but can he do it
One off the
again?
orbital.
He might be the prince. 1 kill for the ultimate. But Berserks tries to stick to Spike. His teammate just needs to stay alive.
Is there enough time?
There's the ultimate. He sticks it.
He's gone! Unbelievable!
SPG! They have done it! The kill, the ultimate, the orbital strike, and Surpresa Gaming will ascend to greatness! Welcome to VCT!